What's up, folks? This is Richard Haick with City 62. Unless you live under a rock, you probably heard that the Oakland A's have successfully gotten through the approvals from the BCDC, the Bay Development and Conservation. They're not talking to me. Anyways, so they got this approval. It's a huge approval. And now we're going, well, what's next? So, next is more. There's more. It's not done. There's a lot to go. Most urgently, or what's coming up next, which is next week, there'll be a city council vote on whether to allow an advisory vote on, or I don't know how you want to call it. There's Noel Gallo, Carol Fife want to put a there's like stuff going on around here. They want to put on the ballot Oakland's, or they want to put on the ballot the ability for Oakland residents to vote, an advisory vote on the whether or not they should allow this project for Howard Terminal. I think a vote is ill-timed, and maybe that's the point. Such a vote would possibly delay things and maybe even kill the project. Whether or not the city council would take that advisory vote to heart, it's non-binding, but they don't have to, but it could happen. And the real problem there is, if you guys watched any of the proceedings happening today, or any of the proceedings happening at any of the other meetings, there's a large number of people who are just severely misinformed. Nobody has put out a really concerted effort to put forth information that is factual and maybe even motivating voters to actually want anything to do with this project. All the money and all the ad space has gone to negative misinformation and disinformation. That's not something that the A's have done. That's not something that the city's done, or anybody else involved. Which would be just to, counter some of these arguments. It's all done online and grassroots, really by A's fans and people interested in the project. That's not really enough. And if there's that many misinformed people that we're seeing at these meetings, how many more are there? And until today, most of these meetings, the no's have outweighed the yes. And the people who were the yes people were always the same few people, the same few fans, mostly fans. Today was different. It was a lot of tradespeople, union guys, a lot of fans, but a lot of people that we haven't seen before, and people who are new to the project, including some people who were once opposed to the project and now aren't. So the information is getting out there, but it's not enough, and I don't think an advisory vote would be useful, because there are a lot of people who have no idea. They just hear tax money is being spent, schools are closing, there's potholes everywhere, there's homeless everywhere. There's a lot going in Oakland that doesn't really go in our favor, and a lot of people don't really see a way out of that. They don't understand the benefits of the project, and they don't understand how they can positively affect them. And so the advisory vote, not a great idea. The fact is we already voted for the people who are on the city council to do this job, to be informed, and to use the resources that they have available that other people don't. We don't have these same resources. The average voter doesn't have the same resources. A lot of time and money's gone into that, and if these people aren't doing their job, you need to check a ballot. When these guys come up for re-election, maybe some of these guys don't have a job next year, or what is 2 years when the next cycle. Regardless, there's a lot of people who want to pass the buck and not do their own job, and that's unfortunate. We even saw it today here in the BCDC meeting. We had Mayor Tom Butts from Richmond, who didn't really understand the project, didn't even know where it was on a map. He's become a bit of a laughing stock from today's proceedings, and I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see people looking like a fool because they don't know what their job is, but we already have it. Carol Fife has already said she's got better things to do. She's got better things to do than be informed. Well, sorry to say, your job is to be informed on all of it, not just some of it. You really can't just pick and choose the ones that you want. So there's that. So once that gets through, I would suspect that City Council will vote it down. It's kind of pointless. I think they know enough. It's also part of the reason I would believe that there isn't a big counter campaign is because I think the A's are relying on the city councils, the port people, the BCDC, the county, expecting them to know what's going on and be informed and have these tools and be able to see through the garbage politics of it all. And I would think that's probably true. Sorry, there's like this dude that's just kind of hanging out. He's got no plates. I don't know what's up. I don't want to get robbed. But yeah, so that's kind of where that's at. So once we get past that phase, really what happens is the A's and the committees, the groups involved, the city, they all need to hammer out both a community benefits agreement and a development deal. Once they have those, then I think we're making some positive moves. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, I'm kind of freezing out here, right? It's unexpectedly cold. So I think the biggest part here is not so much the development contract or development agreement. It's going to be the community benefits and how that pans out. I think the big sticking point that we've seen in recent days has been the question of affordable housing, and that's kind of a big deal. If you watched Zenny's interview with Mike Jacobs, it was a couple days ago, and he talked about how some of these monies may not really be but for taxes. And while I don't buy the whole thing, I do see how the city could be asked to backstop some of these funding gaps, because we don't know how much the price tag is going to be. We don't know how much we're going to get from grants from the federal and state. if there's any cost overruns, where they're going to come from. The financials need to get hammered out. I honestly don't see how this doesn't progress now that there's really positive momentum, and they're up against the timeline of elections. I would think right now that the current city council, as well as the mayor, have the wherewithal to get this done. But if they can't get past it, we don't know who the next guys are going to be and where they stand with this. Will the next mayor squash the deal if we get to that point? If they delay this into January or February, this whole thing could just go down by one person. We don't know where everybody stands just yet. We haven't really seen big campaign stuff from any of the candidates for city council or mayor. A few people have said they support the A's and their fans, but they haven't really delved deeply into whether or not they support this project. That's a really tough thing to be against. I don't think it's enough either for someone to want to sway their vote either. If you go by what these guys are saying, more than 70% of the city doesn't want this project. I don't think that's true. I don't think they've been asked the right question. Actually, not 70% of the city, but 70% of the people polled. You're always going to get skewed results if you go to a place where people are less informed or biased. Polling data can be skewed so much. If you go into certain areas, you're going to get a certain answer, and if you go into another area, you're going to get a different answer. So I would say, if you guys want to keep up the good work, again, I never seen as many people come out in force. Again, not just fans, but people who are concerned citizens, community groups, trades and unions. That was awesome to really see that and see those people come and be there when they haven't been there before. So that was really great to see. So now, if you can, email the city. There's a whole list. You can Google it real quick. You'll want to email the city council. CC every single member on that council and tell them, hey, I support this project. I don't support a vote. Let them know, because that's going to kind of push them one side or another. Hopefully they're smart enough to not have to push this advisory vote to a ballot. But being engaged is really what's going to move anything. Whether it's this, or whether you're upset about the recent stuff with the Supreme Court and Roe versus Wade, whether you don't like gas prices, or you don't want to fund NATO, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Nothing really changes if you sit on your couch. You need to vote. You need to get involved, and you really just be at least smart about what you're doing. Read your ballots. Know your candidates. And it doesn't have to be national news. Honestly, the more stuff that happens to you that you don't vote on is the stuff that happens locally. So don't leave it to everybody else to do it for you. I got to cut this short. The light's getting low. I'm freezing my butt off. I just shaved my head again. So I'm not getting much from the fog and the wind over here. But I'm going to cut this short, guys. Today was a good day. Still a lot of work to do. All right, guys. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Like and subscribe.